In Megillah 14a, it says, many prophets arose for the Jewish people, doubling the number of Israelites who left Egypt. However, not all the prophecies were recorded. Only prophecies containing a lesson for future generations were written down for posterity, but those with no eternal message were not written. In Shmuel, Samuel 1, Book 1, Chapter 22, it says in number 5, God the prophet, God, like G-A-D, not God, not Hashem, not Gad, God, the prophet, said to David, you must not stay in your stronghold in Mitzvah, Moab, for you're not safe here. Go on into the territory of Judah. So David left and went to the forest of Chayret. In Chayenu, which is a publication for the dates of tevet 19 to 25. It's a weekly. It has commentary. So it's the commentary in this publication. They say, seeing that David was no longer close to Moab, the king of Moab killed all David's family, save his brother Elihu, who fled north to Ammon and found refuge in the home of King Nachash of Ammon. God knew prophetically, like, again, God, G-A-D, not God, Hashem, not the creator, not the almighty, Gad, like, so God knew prophetically that the king of Moab was intending to hand David over to Saul. Saul had recently defeated the Moabites and their king was still afraid of him. He wouldn't want Saul to find out he was sheltering David. Gad further knew that David would be safer in the territory of Judah, his kinsmen, who would be loyal to him over Saul, and warn him should Saul decide to pursue him. It will be recalled that King Nachash of Ammon had besieged the Transjordanian town of Yavesh, Gilead, threatening to enslave them, and that the Israelites, led by Saul, in the first battle of his career, had attacked them, the Ammonites, and repelled them. After David's brother escaped to Ammon, the king of Moab asked King Nachash to extradite him to Moab, but Nachash refused. In retribution for Moab's treatment of his family, David later attacked them, killing many of them and enslaving the rest. Still later, when King Nachash died, David sent his condolences to Nachash's son, acknowledging Nachash's kindness and offering his brother shelter in this time of need. In the Tanya, it says, as students, the Tanya written by Rabbi Shmuel Zalman of Liadi, the first chabad rebbe, the first Lubavitcher rebbe, even though it wasn't yet based in the town of Lubavitch, as students in the natural sciences affirm, and so it is in the eitz Chaim, the element of fire is in the heart, while the element of water and moisture is in the brain, as explained in eitz Chaim, Portal Gate 50. The source of the element of water is the level of chachma, which is called the water of the divine soul. And then in devarim, Deuteronomy 20, verse 5-7 says, before they go out to war, the officer shall... I'm saying before they go out to war, that's the context, okay. The officer shall speak to the people, saying, what man is there who has built a new house and has not inaugurated it? Let him go and not inaugurated it. Let him go and return to his house, lest he die and the one another man inaugurate it. And what man is there who has planted a vineyard and not redeemed it? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die and the one another man redeem it. And what man is there who betrothed a woman and hasn't taken her? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the war and another man take her. Sotah 1444a says we should learn from this that the man should be set up financially to support his new family by first building or buying or renting a house and planting a vineyard, which is establishing a means of sustenance, before he proposes to a woman. Rabbi Avraham Aryeh Trugman, in his book 70 Faces, we're gonna have to do that tomorrow, actually. Yeah. Okay, so switching gears, I want to share about how in an OA meeting, some of the things that I learned about real power is not about struggling against someone else, but about being able to be strong inside. Sometimes real control is holding my tongue and not letting the small body part, the tongue, cause damage. Speech and sound can be compulsive. Presence and basically a way to bond with me is also to guard my health, feeling internally calm enough, say health or energy, and also this idea of presence versus playing the game or the role, which is like trying to be something rather than just being. And a healthy state could be mobile, movement, progress, to be able to keep moving forward in life, even in that presence. It's not a stagnancy. And then in that presence, we can pay attention to signs and symbols and meaning and make sense of the life around us. And when we're in presence, we, the game and the role, and often like the struggling against someone to feel safe, that could be a lot about wanting someone else to have the upper hand, preventing me from getting a more deeper, stable connection to my own inner guidance. Sometimes I'm flipping a literal coin, like heads or tails, like, because I'm not being connected, right? So if I shift my perspective, a lot could change. And then it's possible for a new life, a new me, a new relationship with my higher power, Hashem. And that's better than any new bite of food, for example. And that's getting like bite-sized pieces of myself, which can happen during being a bite-sized piece of life, which is being in the present moment. And in that way, we can handle one moment at a time. Versus the addiction of using like food to like a drug, because I don't think I can handle getting through the moment by moment and the unpredictable and the uncertainty and the unknown, and the confidence from showing up makes all the difference. Confidence to show up is what gives us confidence. And in terms of the speech, the sound, that could be compulsive when we're not like in the moment and we're not talking from that presence, that, like being able to speak without the interruptions, without the haste and the waste, which helps us get things off our chest, so we're not pushing things down and then running. And then I wanted to share, there was a man named Nati, who I got involved with, and I didn't mean to get involved with. I don't think he was interested in me. I don't know. He seemed very interested in me, and then he just cut off one day. It was painful. It was very painful. I want to share about, so I felt turned on that the male had the upper hand by controlling himself, which may look like losing on the outside, but in reality it's winning, because I end up wanting to submit, since I can trust him and my inner child can feel safe for the first time in years, and that's really sexy. And then that he can be like a daddy. And I want to tell you that he worked here for 3 months. This was maybe halfway through his time being in my neighborhood, and then he actually moved back months ago already to Colombia, and he's from Israel. So but this is things I thought about. Thank you. I felt that these are all the things I couldn't tell him. And not necessarily that I couldn't tell him, but you'll see. So I called him the king of chocolate, because he worked in that cafe. Knows I'm a queen, but doesn't know he's a king. Too sexy and lovable and handsome to stay away from for long. Doesn't know that he's a gift for me, but knows I'm a gift for him. Maybe we can tether in a few weeks, or maybe in a few months. When he rejected my paper with my phone number, and also the next day when he said I made him uncomfortable and he stopped talking to me completely and I felt rejected again, it seemed like he jumped to feel sorry for himself, like he's a victim or to have something I wanted, and he wants to control me, which made me grin, actually. But perhaps he just needed a timeout. I felt he was testing me, but he said today, the day that I wrote this, that he wasn't, and he just felt that, and felt that he wanted to, and I felt that he wanted to win and embarrass me, and I told him he did such a good job with the discipline not to speak up and to maybe have pity on me. But then yesterday he didn't want to tell me how many siblings he has when I asked, and also when I asked about what he knows about fire. All of a sudden we were having these deep conversations, and all of a sudden it just disappeared. I think he felt like he's setting me free from being attached to him. Before I fully stormed down, I went back in and I said, I wish for all he does to me to be done to him. I didn't like that he said I should call 911 if I needed help, not him. And I saw earlier that he had wanted me to grovel, I saw earlier he had hurt and he loved me, like that I'd hurt him because he loved me, and I didn't know why he loved me. And so I wanted to tell him, like, thanks for, I projected that he wanted me to grovel to show that he's the one with power, and it turned me on. Because at that moment, I just felt like I was lonely, I guess. I was confused. I realized that my husband does have to be stronger than me, and I'm here to teach him, so I need to recognize that there will be some level of mental sparring, that Hashem knows I could hold my own, and it's what he enjoyed, being desired, nati, and wanted. Maybe he spent so long being the desirer, or the wanter, that he feels he earned it, that I should want and desire him. And maybe he can see that he's forcing me to come against my will, causing me to be like a brat. But when I come from my own free will, I'm playfully submissive and trusting it, and it turns him on, and Hashem wants me to know that it's all a game and not to worry, because I'm going with him to Colombia. Now look, it never happened. This was delusional thinking, and he's going to be my friend, and his presence will be a solid foundation for me, and he knows that he has the best of both worlds made for me, especially because I need both air and earth to be satisfied when I'm falling and when I land. And it's possible that bouncing back for someone I can break myself, like B-R-A-K-E, like the brakes on a car or a bike, not like to break, B-R-E-A-K, like to shatter, no, like breaking. Even for a crash landing after Michael, which was a man who I felt at that moment I was writing this, I said he might possibly be my soulmate, but it's for sure Sagittarius, and that's Michael, who's a fire, and just so happens is that's my ascendant, my rising, my lily, but it's spelled Lilith. It's like your dark side. But my north node is Capricorn, and Nati was a Capricorn and an Aquarius. He was kind of in both. Anyway, and then based on a conversation I had with Michael, so basically, a wife is already a teacher. Wife is as a lady is teacher or wife, and kind of like the seeder, like the coder or the coded. So the gaps get filled, or fills the gaps in him. Like she takes in his code and then could fill in the gaps if there's gaps. But she's the coder, like he's the coder, and so the wife as a lady is the teacher, or the wife. She's either teaching to fill in the gaps, or she's receiving from him, filling in her own gap. Could think of it like a robot to make more of him, make a better version of him, the man, the husband, a baby of love, because she wants him to have company, and even if he is more like the children than like her, and so recognizing I have to validate myself for that, just the fact that I'm a woman, and see how good I am and that I deserve the best, all is being done for my benefit. And some things I never told Nati, but I wanted to tell him was, thank you for letting me have free choice. Thanks for being my friend. Thank you for letting me have a crash landing. Thanks for being my spar fellow. Thanks for letting me have solid ground, and thanks for being my reminder. Thank you for letting me have a mind upgrade, and thank you for being my muse. Thanks for letting me have a fantasy world, and thanks for being my Game Boy. And we are going to stop there and continue with Rabbi Avram Aryeh Trugman and 70 Faces tomorrow. All the best. Bye.